Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So let us start our class today. Okay, so as I told you, this week and next week, this will be very important. So let us see how much I can go. But this week and next week, we need to review, we need to cover the object-oriented foundation. Abstraction, inheritance, we started inheritance, abstraction, and polymorphism. These three are the main pillars of object-oriented programming. Okay, so I like everybody to give full attention in this course, in these 2 weeks. Okay, and at any point, if you do not understand anything, please raise your hand. Okay, so then I will, yes.
Is roll going around? I forgot to mention that earlier. Is roll call going around?
Yeah, I give the attendance sheet to someone else. Okay, and let us look over the schedule. I defer the quiz for a week, so this will be a week by this weekend, right? Yeah, this weekend. But anyone, if you already completed it, and if you have any doubt, please let me know. I will take care, okay? And what else? Is there anyone that missed the test one? Yeah? Okay, so how was the test one? Not bad, okay?
It felt like we were rushing a lot to get it done.
No, actually, okay. That's the last time. Actually, I wish I could have 5 questions, but for most of the questions, we did not ask to write whole program. We wanted to ask, if you read the question, I just asked to write the class, just the code on the class. I saw some people write the entire program. We did not ask to write the entire program, right? We just wanted to write the class, to declare a class, and then within the class, getters and settlements. That's it. And constructor, yeah.
I think the step is the longest was asking for step-by-step progress explaining the bubble filter. I think that one took the longest at all.
The bubble for there were 5 elements, right? I thought we thought it should be okay. Okay, we will see. We will see that how much that everybody, most of the people covered. Yes.
Is there any possibility that the test might be graded on Friday?
Not this Friday, by next Friday. There are a lot of tests, a lot of students, so we'll be grading. Okay. And okay, so I asked you to watch some YouTube videos. How many of you did watch some lectures? Some videos. Okay, because I wanted to watch some videos, previous videos even, so that we can expedite this thing. And if you have some pre-idea, before I start my class, if you have some idea, even some superficial idea, by reading book or some articles or watching the videos, then it will be easy for your class to get some extra advanced idea and then be clear. This is why I asked you to go through. If possible, please read the chapter, but book chapters are very long. Okay, but lecture videos are concise, whatever you mainly need to know. So, but I like you to read the book, but before you read the book, watch the lecture video first, because then you will understand the main things, what you need to learn. Okay. Okay, let us start our journey today. So where did we live? We left here. Okay, so we left here. We discussed inheritance with a C# program, and then you see that I added 3 other lecture videos from previous 2 class. 1322, this one, these last 3. Okay, so please spend some time to watch these videos. Even the sound quality is not good for this one, but please try to watch, and then I will try to cover most of the things here. And what we did in our last class, we discussed inheritance through a C# program, right? How many of you are taking C# lab? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, okay, maybe one third of this room, right? And most of the people are taking Java. This is not okay. Okay, so and today's class and this week class, I mostly want to go to Java, and if I have time in next week, I will go back to Java again. Okay. Okay, last week we were discussing inheritance, right? Inheritance is a process, okay, this is a process by which process we can inherit or achieve properties from one class to another class. Like for instance, if you have a base class, then if a base class is defined already, then we can reuse that base class. So reusability is the most important feature of object-oriented programming. That means if you have something defined in one class, you do not need to redefine it in another class. Just you can inherit it. Okay. And then in last class, I went through a few pages, but you see that there are a lot of pages on this slide. I like you to go through these slides, okay? And then I will come back, revisit here. I went through most of the stuff over here, whatever in my programs I discussed, but a few things I did not cover, like for instance, the difference between private and protected and public and protected. That actually the characteristics of protected members. Okay, so I want to go through this. So I like you to go through these slides. This slide has some an overview, a summary, what private members can do or protected members can do. You see the difference. If a member, if a class class is public, a class member is public, so this it is accessible from everywhere. It says yes, 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 that means it is accessible from everywhere. And if you say private, then you see that it has only one yes, that is within same class, right? So that is, if I have some secret information, private information, okay, then I know myself. I myself know that, right? And no other person or people know this information, private information. This is why all other columns you see no. Okay? And actually, this is a good interview question. So sometimes people ask, what are the class access modifiers? Like there are 4 modifiers: public, protected, private, and another is default. Default means you are not using any modifier, blank, keeping blank. Okay, so default is not a keyword, but default means you are keeping blank. Okay, so if you use default, so you see that you have 3 ESs, right? Same class, subclass of same package, and another class of the package. You have accessibility. Okay, and here you see that let us compare between public and protected. So private is clear. If a class member is private, then it is accessible only within the class. Okay, so this is very straightforward. Okay, and if it is public, then it is accessible from everywhere, anywhere, right? So then we need to know about default and protected. Okay, so is the difference between protected and default. See that in protected, only you see I have only one no here, right? That means if a member is protected, then subclass of classes of another package cannot use it. But for public, it is yes. Okay, and almost a protected member is almost same like as a public, but there is only one difference here, right? Okay, and a default member is almost like a protected, but it has only another no. That means a subclass of another package or subclass or class of another package cannot access a default member. So you do not need to memorize this slide, this chart, okay? When you understand inheritance clearly, and then when you understand abstraction and polymorphism, by this week and next week, I like you to do some practice with program, okay? Then, when you practice with some program, then do some practice by making some member default or protected. Then you will understand the difference, okay? For me, it is, I know that if I close my eyes, I know what happens if I make it private or protected or public. But I don't like you to memorize this slide, okay? But sometime later, every time, always you will need this. You will need this. So by practicing your inheritance and programming, when you will be able to understand this slide clearly, then you will understand that you know inheritance clearly, inheritance concept clearly, okay? So that means when you, or vice versa, when you will become inheritance when you become clear in inheritance, using inheritance, then you will be clear with this chart. And vice versa, when you will be clear with this chart, then you will have a good understanding of inheritance. But it is not a matter to memorize this slide, okay? So this is why I am keeping this, but I am giving you a reminder that later we will need to revisit here, or you need to revisit this page, okay? So that a private member cannot be inherited. I discussed this, I showed this in a program, okay? And I think this is the quick overview of toString method. We need to, I will show you today. I will show you today, but there is a, so if you see there is a 7-minute video here, if you please watch this video, the toString method overriding explained. So by watching this 7-minute video, you will understand why do we need to override toString and how do we do that, okay? But in my program, in my class, I will go through this quickly, but in order to understand detail, why and how do we need to do override the toString method, please watch this video, okay? And read these slides. I have also a program over here. So the main concept is that if you do not override the toString method, that your output, if you want to output your object, then your object will show like this. It will show your class name, and then your this is the package name. It will show the package name dot class name, and at the rate is the memory location. So its memory location is not meaningful to us, right? So in order to have something meaningful, we need to override this toString method. This overriding toString method is just a few lines. Over here you see that. How do you override the toString method? Actually the toString method return a string value. So we need to organize our fields that how do I like to return it. So this fit 2 lines code. This I have discussed this in the video that I showed you, okay? So I think these are all for this slides. So although there are a lot of slides, but this slide discuss the same thing. I already went through some live programs. So anyone has any question about inheritance? Although I will go back inheritance again, okay? Okay. So let us go through our next slide. Okay, abstraction. Okay, our next slide is abstraction. Abstraction means, the abstraction is means summarization. For instance, when you read an article, like there is an article like maybe 12 pages or 20 pages or 30 pages, but you will see that on the top page, on the front page, there is one paragraph, the single paragraph like 10 sentences or even less than 10 sentences summarization. It's called abstract, right? The abstract says what is the procedure, what are the procedures of this research, or what are the findings of this research in one line or one sentence sometimes, right? But it does not say in detail. Okay, so the abstraction is a concept. So abstraction is a concept that will give you some superficial concept, no, but not clear. Okay, so in our daily life we use abstraction a lot. Sometimes we use abstraction or sometimes we do not use abstraction. Sometimes we use abstraction like for instance intentionally. Sometimes we avoid abstraction intentionally. For instance, if someone asks you how much is your laptop, right? Some people in this ask that how much this laptop is. So how much is your laptop cost? Sometimes we say that, okay, so for instance we say my laptop costs for instance $1,000. We say $1,000, right? Okay, but in 1,000 in mathematics, in mathematical terms, we sometimes write 1,000 equal to 10 to the power 3, right? 1,000 equal to 10 to the power 3, okay? But we in general, we do not say 10 to the power 3 is abstraction. In abstraction, like in mathematics, we say x cubed power 3, right? 10 to the power 3. So, but in general, we do not say that my laptop cost 10 to the power $3. Do we say that? We do not say that, right? So that word, because we know that the word, mathematical term, 10 to the power 3 is an abstract word. Okay, but in real life, when speaking or talking, we avoid those abstract terms. But sometimes we use abstract. I will tell you some example when we intentionally use abstract word. Especially for programming, you see that when we discuss programming, sometimes in order to display something, we use printf or print line or write line. Remember that we use println, right? Okay, but do we know the in detail of print line method, how it is working? We do not know, right? We do not know that how the println method is actually working. And at this time, at this phase, it is not our goal to understand how the println method does work internally. Okay, just at this point, our goal is to know how the println method is used. Okay, what is my argument list and how my argument should be given within println method in order to print or display something. But it is not my responsibility at this point for goal to understand the internal functionality of println method. Okay, so println method is an abstract method over here. Okay, it's abstract to us. Okay, and in our daily life, for instance, when we drive our car, okay, so then we just put the key in within the car, and then or we push the start button, and a vehicle or car start up, right? It is not our goal to know how the ignition system works, right? Even in order to get a license, driving license, it is not our goal to learn or to know how the ignition system works and how a car starts. We need to know if I push the key, it should start, right? And when we are driving on roadside, okay, so we know that if my car is okay, then it will be, ignition system will be working, and then I need to focus on my steering and on my brake, right? But remember that it would happen that every second we need to remember, or we need to focus whether my car is start is on or off, if my ignition system is on or off. If we are required to focus that, then our driving would be more difficult, right? We would not be able to focus our driving or steering and or pressing brake, right? So that inheritance, like so the abstraction system made us easier, okay, through abstraction, that what we are doing, we are avoiding some task in order to give more focus on some other task. For instance, in our program, we are avoiding how the println method works. By avoiding this, we are giving focus to other places. Okay, we are giving focus how my condition works. Okay, even we are ignoring that here the if is an abstract word. We don't need to know how if works internally. We need to know what the condition we need to give inside the if, right? We need to focus on what will happen if the condition is true or if the condition is false, right? So by the advantage of having abstraction is that we are able to give more focus on some more important task in hand, right? So in computer science and programming, you will see a lot of abstract word or abstract concept in programming. For instance, here you see the vehicle as a vehicle is an abstract concept. As I told that in reality I will not be able to find a vehicle. I will be able to see a bus or a truck or a car, right? So the vehicle itself is an abstract word, is a concept. Vehicle is a concept, right? Similarly, when you say fruit, so a fruit is a concept. If I ask you to bring some fruits for me, then you will bring some, either some apples or some oranges or some bananas or some mangoes, right? But I asked you, if I say I asked you to bring some fruits, but you brought banana, okay, because banana is a fruit. So actually the way to understand which one is a class, which one is abstract and which one is concrete, actually the abstract is that is not visible or that does not appear, okay, but so when you say the vehicle is an abstract, then when a vehicle is implemented or a build, then we say car as a or a bus or a truck, these are concrete objects. So we will go through this in a program. Okay. So the actually all classes are abstract. The concept of a class is abstract because we saw that vehicle is a class. Okay, and then we implement actual vehicle as a car or a truck or a bus. We will do that today also. Then those are concrete classes. We will go through this. Okay, so let us see what else we have in our a lot of slides. So in order to go through all of these slides, so instead of going through all of the slides, let me go through with the live program. Then you will get more understanding. Okay. Okay, so let us start our, this is your section, right? Section 2. Okay, so let us start a package. A package is a packet, like where we put a group of similar things, similar classes together. Okay, so let us create a new package. Let us give the package name as inheritance, abstraction explained. Okay, let us give the class name as abstraction explained. Okay, package name as an abstraction explained. You see that this package is empty. Okay, so let us create a class inside this package, class name as vehicle. Okay, so in the vehicle I do not need any main method, so let us keep it as is. Okay, so you see public class vehicle, that means I need to assign some fields of this vehicle, right? So what fields we want to assign? Someone, can anyone help me, please?
Model year.
Okay, so let me copy some course from my C#. I want to copy some course from my C# program so that it will be easy for me to do that, or also it will be easier for you to okay, so let us copy everything from my C# program and paste it over here so that you will understand the difference between a C# class and I have this extra Java class. Okay, so actually I have already vehicle class. Actually I don't need this part. Okay. Okay, so I copied from C#. So okay, so it is showing me a lot of errors. So can anyone please tell me what is the error on line 3? In line 3 there is an error. Yes. Yes. So in C# we use the clone sign, right? In order to inherit, right? And in Java we need to do extend. Okay. These extend says my vehicle class extend object. You see that I made only one sense and almost all of the errors gone. Okay, except a few. Okay, so this is in C sharp, and for C sharp class vehicle, then we need to use colon. Okay, and by default, all classes extend the vehicle class. So no matter whether you write extend object or not, it extends. So even if I do not write extend, this same thing. All classes extend the object class by default. Okay, so then I have a few more errors over here. So what is the error here? What do I need to do here? Yes, I need to use system.out.println, right? Instead of console.writeLine, right? Okay. And the override toString method, I will discuss this later. Let me do it, and then almost done. Okay, and then here also I have another console here, right? Then I need to do system.out.println. Okay, then I'm good. You see, then let us revisit the vehicle class. So in the vehicle class, I have static integer variable vehicle count, and I have mainly three fields here: integer doors, integer speed, and string color. And I have a run method, that is public static void run method. And I have, what is it? Can anyone please tell that? Yeah, it is a constructor, right? A constructor has same name exactly as its class name, right? Okay, a class can a class contains multiple constructors? Yes. So okay, so this class, it has constructor. This is called default constructor, or without non-argumented constructor. But this vehicle class has three arguments. Okay, actually this I have written in one line. So instead of here, I can write like this way, right? Okay. Okay, so in the test there is a question: what is the use of this operator? What is the use of this operator? It refers to the current object of the class, right? It refers to the current object of the class. Why? When this is optional. If I use my doors like this field name, and this door argument name different, then this operator is optional, right? But if I use same, then this operator is required. Okay, and this is called, what is it? Get dot. This is a called getter method, right? And we have set dot. This is called setter method, right? So there are getters and setter for both, all variables, for doors, speed, and colors. Okay, so we are good for vehicle. Okay, so everybody understands this vehicle class? Okay, for the test, I was required to only to write this vehicle method, not the entire program. I saw that some people try to write the entire program. I did not ask to write the entire program. In the test, I asked you only to write only two fields, right? So that for two fields there would be four setters and two setters and two getters, right? Okay, and then I asked to have only at least one constructor. Okay, that's good. Okay. Now, okay, then what else we did? We created some other classes, right? Some other classes in our inheritance discussion. We created other vehicle, like bus or truck or car classes, right? We will go through this, but we will go through this through a different approach for abstraction here. Okay. In order to understand abstraction, you have to have a clear idea about inheritance. So at this point, let us rethink. Let us rethink, do we really understand inheritance concept? Is anybody here that has a doubt about inheritance concept? If you do not understand inheritance, you will not be able to understand abstraction. Anybody here? Okay, that's good. So we understand inheritance, right? Here, by default, all vehicle class inherit some properties from abstract object class. Okay, in C#, you can write in O in uppercase or lowercase, but in Java, you have to write in O in uppercase. Java does not allow O in lowercase, but C# allows both lowercase O or uppercase O. Okay. So, everybody please give attention. Now we are trying to understand abstraction. So as we define an abstraction is a concept, right? So a vehicle is a concept. A vehicle is a concept. Okay. So in reality there is no vehicle exist. What we see in our real life, either a bus or a car or a truck or a motorcycle or a bike or a scooter, even a scooter may be a vehicle. A train, a airplane, all of these are vehicles, right? Okay. So let us consider that in reality there is no vehicle exist. But in order to have a concrete vehicle, we need to inherit this vehicle class. Okay, but so far whatever my class, vehicle class, it has, although we are claiming that a vehicle is an abstract word or abstract term, but I have not made this vehicle as an abstract class yet. So that question is that what is the essential property for a class to be an abstract class? This is the question. What is the essential property of a class to be an abstract class? Okay, in order to be an abstract class, this class must contain at least one abstract method. Okay, and then the question is that what is an abstract method? The question is that what is an abstract method? An abstract method, that means a method that does not have any implementation. Okay, for instance, we know that there are different types of vehicles, right? Okay, and different vehicles run in different way. Okay, so or different vehicles run in different way. For instance, a car or a bus run with like 4 wheels or 6 wheels, right? But a train has multiple, like 100 or 200 wheels, right? But an airplane is a vehicle that has ultimately no wheel. Although there are some wheels that are used temporarily for few minutes to land or to fly before that, right? Okay, so the concept is that, for instance, the run method is different for different vehicles, because the different vehicles run in different way, right? So let us make this run method as abstract, because we do not know, by saying a vehicle, we do not know what kind of vehicle I do have. I may have a car, I may have a bus, I may have a truck, I may have a train, or I may have an airplane. Okay, so since the vehicle method, we do not know, since different vehicles run in different way, so in order to define a vehicle class, it will be good to declare the run method as an abstract method. That means while we are going to create a vehicle class, we should not give any fixed code for the run method, because in other way we can tell that in order to define a vehicle class, we should not tell how this vehicle will run, because by telling a vehicle, I do not know what kind of concrete vehicle I will have. For instance, if I have a truck, it will run in a way, but if I have an airplane, it will run another way. If I have a train, then it will run another way, right? So the wise or good decision will be not to define how the run method will actually be implemented. So in order to confirm that, we need to make the run method abstract. So then when we use an abstract keyword, then this run method becomes an abstract method. And then when a class contains at least one abstract method, then this class itself needs to be declared as an abstract class. Okay, so you see that it is giving me an error. What is the error it is showing me? It says that make type vehicle abstract. That means I need to make this abstract. So when I say abstract, then my error is gone, right? And when I say abstract class, then this class needs to have at least one abstract method. My run method is an abstract method. I may have multiple abstract method in my class. For instance, I may have another abstract method. For instance, I have engine. Okay, but for instance, consider the has engine method. I don't know what kind of engine a vehicle has, right? A car has a different engine than a truck. A truck has a different engine than a train, right? A train has a different engine than an airplane or a helicopter, right? So we do not know yet what kind of engine a vehicle should have. Okay, so then that is the concept you got, that a class can contain multiple abstract method, but at least one abstract method, right? Then what is an abstract method? A method that has only the signature line. This is the signature line. Only the heading line, okay? But it does not have any implementation, any body. So the concept is that if you make a method abstract, you cannot have its body. You cannot have this. You see that is showing an error? What is the error? It is showing that abstract method do not specify a body, right? I have two quick fix. Either remove the abstract method modifier, either I have to remove abstract modifier, or what else? I have to remove method body, right? So that what is the concept here? An abstract method cannot have a body, an implementation. So then question is that where this implementation will be? In the concrete class. Okay, when we will have, I will build or I will have an actual vehicle. Okay, I think we have few more minutes. Please give me 5 more extra minutes. Okay, I will go through there. So let us create another class and name that class as a for instance bus or car, maybe private car, right? Okay, so then here in this car object, if we want to, you see that here superclass java.lang.object, all class by default inherit from java.lang.object. But if I want to have my other classes, for instance, I can add other classes. For instance, vehicle. Or instead of doing that, I can do this way. Let me do. Just let me make the name as car and as public and then finish. Okay, so then in my car, I have empty car, right? And then I want to extend vehicle. Okay, so in the car class, I want to, so then in this case, car will be a real class, an abstract class, okay? Sorry, a concrete class. Then when I am trying to extend the vehicle class, it is showing me an error. So what is this error? Let us see. The type car must implement the inherited abstract method vehicle.run, right? So then that is showing me to add unimplemented methods. If you see that, what are the unimplemented methods? The run method and then has engine method. Okay. Now even if I keep this method body empty, okay, but then still it is happy. Satisfied, right? There is no error, right? But as soon as I delete this, then the error will come again. So actually, so this class, car class, is now a concrete class. Then what is a concrete class? A concrete class, by using a concrete class, I will be able to create an instance of this car class. But with having vehicle as an abstract class, I will not be able to create any instance of vehicle. Abstract class, okay? For an abstract class, we cannot create an instance. An abstract class is like a parent, okay? Then it cannot give any child, okay? But in order to get a child, we need to have a concrete class. Okay, in the concrete class, then I have run method. So this run method, you see the override run. Actually this run method needs to be implemented as I need. Okay, so similarly, 2 more minutes. Okay, if I add another concrete class, for instance, truck. Okay, and then in my truck, if I extend vehicle, then I need to similarly add an implemented method, the run method and has engine method. You see the run method and has engine method, this needs to be implemented in all concrete classes that extend the abstract class, but these implementation will be different. A car engine will be different or maybe different from a truck engine. This is the concept of abstraction. We will go through this concept in our next class. We will expand this through our next class. Okay, then I asked you to watch those videos. Please watch these videos before you come in next class. Okay? Thank you so much.